Yeah, these guys are everywhere. But, yeah, so be it. So one of the things I want to do this afternoon, between I got a meeting later today after hours, but I'm going to play with the new rake, landscape rake, and try and get some of this cleaned up and cleared out. Um, so I'll take a spin or two around just to kind of give you an idea what my landscape rake does, and then go from there. Hey, you get the idea. The next option is going to be taking all of the debris, picking it up, running it over to the burn pile, and kind of clearing this whole area out. The other stuff that's got more dirt in it, I'll take over to the compost pile, and hopefully we'll get this section looking awesome. Good times. Okay, never thought I'd see one of these. A dung beetle out here in Florida, struggling with his dung ball. But off he goes into the sunrise, being pestered by a fly. Well, work had me a little busier this week than I would have liked, but I did get out and get some work done. Got starting to get used to using the landscape rake. I ran a few laps through this area that we got a lot of the palmetto out of. Probably doesn't show up super well on the camera, but there was a lot of other lumpy stuff and it wasn't quite as smooth in here. A lot more work to do in here, but let me walk over and show you the other area where I was really getting a little bit more groomed. All right, so this is the space I spent quite a bit of time, did a bunch of laps around here. This is where I kind of got used to using the landscape rake. Still have a little bit of a pile here I need to sort out. I think that's my biggest challenge with using the landscape rake is I make these mounds, and then how do you knock them down and get the junk that you collected out? The bigger sticks are easy, you just push them off the landscape rake and off you go. But these littler ones and the ones that work into a little bit more dirt might take me a little bit more time. I think it might be also because it was so lumpy that I'm kind of leveling and de-sticking as I go. I got a lot of greenbrier roots in there. I think I'm going to give up and just walk through with the tippy cart and pick those out by hand and fill the tippy cart with them. But I'm happy with the way this is turning out. This was so overgrown when we bought the house. No way you could have stood here and seen the road or anything else. Now the question is, do I plant grass? Do I let it go back to kind of a brushy, wild area? I don't know. Probably lawn would be the best. That's why I'm spending a little bit more time to get all these sticks and stuff. You don't really see sticks and twigs and things sticking out of the lawn in other spots. So I got to kind of get some of that under control. But it's been fun. As the sun is setting, I think I am going to call it a day. God, I got dirty. It's super dusty right now. The weather keeps claiming that it's going to rain, and the day comes and goes, and no rain. So, not going to say that we're in a drought. I think that some of the stat numbers may say that we're a little light on rain. I don't know. It's my first season here. But it is a lot of fun. It's a lot more fun to go out and maintain these forests and the lawn and stuff, especially when you have diesel-powered appliances, which makes it all the more exciting. And I don't throw up my back, so that's all good too. Tomorrow I got a surprise for Karen. Hopefully we'll have fun doing that. I think she figured out where we're going, but don't know for sure. I'm still trying to keep her fooled. I was hoping to get that burn pile going Saturday, but it's Saturday evening, so I don't know if I want to be all sooty and then go out. But anyway, that's my week so far. Good times. Well, decided I'd try and clean up a little bit more of the trash in this area. Got a little bit in the farm truck. But I tell you, if this greenbrier stuff, the roots are edible, I got enough to feed a family of 4 for quite a while. There was a lot of it in this area. Of course, that was what was kind of overgrown and run over this area. But I think if I go over this with a finish rake, hand rake a little bit, I'm going to about call it done. But it's been good fun. I did run over that area with the landscape rake a little bit and some more of the area of the yard. But it takes a little bit to get this stuff to look good. I can't imagine folks that do this for a profession, how they knock this stuff out quick. I'm still learning, but it's a lot of fun. One of the things I do enjoy on this farm truck is this little lever here. That allows me to take all of that. Of course, I'm running the short bed version, and dump it all out, just like that. Awesome. So Karen and I are going to do Drawn to Life, Cirque du Soleil at Disney Springs. Yay! So let me spin the camera around and you can see the stage. It seems that they chopped off half the auditorium. We were just talking about this, that this is actually a theater in the round, but they put the stage up about 2/3 of the way through the theater. So this will be interesting, but it's a very tall ceiling. So this will be fun. Definitely not a lack of people here. I wanted to come out this morning and check on this one oak. It's the one right up here against this pine tree. I hit the roots of it yesterday really bad. There was a palmetto, and in fact it's kind of laying there on the ground. Yeah, right about there. But right in here is where those roots are. I put dirt back over the top of it. But I wanted to check and see how it's doing today, because we lost that other oak, which actually was right next to that tree there. Trying to clear around these trees and not kill them is definitely an art, especially when you have palmetto growing like right there. That's a palmetto that's right at the base of this tree. So how do you start clearing that out? Do you just leave it and hope it dies? I don't know what the best way is, but I'm trying a few different ways to experiment with this. But at the moment, it looks like this tree is hanging in there. I was going to go grab some water. I've got a hose over there. I don't know if I can make it reach over here. And give him a little drink this morning. Hopefully, they keep saying it's going to rain, but I haven't seen any of that rain show up yet. So I'm not sure. I guess it rained a little bit the other night. There was a pretty good storm, but it wasn't that much. It was a 1/4 inch of rain, if that. So let me give him a little bit of a drink this morning, and then I'm going to go make breakfast. As it turns out, my hose just barely reaches. A little bit of a spray, and we can get him some water. So hopefully this guy survives my ordeal, and we'll go on saving more and more of these trees. We uncovered a maple. And I finally found an app that tells me a lot about what the trees and plants are on the property. So I wanted to go through and let y'all know about that. But in the background there, all that dying that you see, the brown in the background, that's all from vines that we've cut that go up into trees. So they're starting to die. It's not the trees dying. And that's the challenge, is trying to kill the bad stuff and keep the good stuff. But anyway, good times. All right, I know this isn't normally a cooking show, but I wanted to share my my tips. So one of my favorite breakfasts is bacon, eggs, and toast. So I take my 4 pieces of bacon, I let those fry up, I'll flip them. We got 2 eggs at the ready over here, and then I've got 2 pieces of toast ready to go in the toaster. Now here's my trick. I cook the bacon until it's pretty much done. Throw it on a plate, and then set it up in the microwave. Then I crack the eggs and get them cooking and splash the bacon grease on those eggs to get the white to cover the yolks so that they're a soft yolk. And the timing for that is I'll pop the toast in as soon as I put the eggs in the pan, and as soon as my toast pops up, it's good. Now, this will vary depending on how brown you like your toast, but that's how I do it. Okay, so that's what you end up with, is fried eggs, bacon, and toast. Other pro tip is lightly butter the toast. Normally I like lots of butter on my toast, but if you over butter it, then it won't absorb the egg yolk when you dip the toast in it. Anyway, good times. So this morning actually is Mother's Day, and for those who, I think I will include the tip on making my breakfast. We're wondering if I was going to make Karen breakfast this morning. No, she's actually at church serving, doing graphics, so that every other person at church can enjoy her blessed gift of worship. So I'm out in the farm truck, and I was a little concerned because my tree, which I was calling a laurel oak, it seems like it's a gordonia, I think is how you pronounce it. We'll find out if it ever blooms or if these trees bloom. This is our first year here, so I haven't been able to do that. But it is looking, it hasn't rained here too much. It's starting to look just ever so lacking water. So I brought 5 gallons out. Let me go ahead and grab that out of the farm truck, and let's give this guy some water. This tree's a little bit further out from the rest of the homestead. So I'll go ahead and it's about 4 gallons of water. Give him a good amount. Let that sift in. The ground here really has really good drainage. It is all mostly sand, so what it's percolating quite a bit out here. But of course, when the ground is dry, it takes a little bit more for it to absorb. So let's give it a little bit of primer. You can see as soon as the ground started getting a little moist, that stuff just goes away. But yeah, it's been a little hot. It's going to be in the 90s today. So want to make sure that this guy gets his share of water for the day. I still haven't gotten out and done my mowing. That was just me driving through there with the grapple down. But I need to get the mower attached to the tractor and get that going. Also need to get that hydraulic hose repaired. I haven't heard back from Central Florida Equipment whether or not they've got gotten my part in stock yet. So I think come Monday I'll give them a shout and see what's going on. God, that sun is super bright today. It's going to be a gorgeous day, and for all the mothers out there, of course this is maybe not going to come out on Mother's Day, but happy belated Mother's Day then. So I think in an earlier video I called this an aspen tree. Did a little bit more research with that fun app for the camera and found out that this is a Chinese raspwort. And yeah, we'll be learning more and more about the plants as I can correctly identify these and what they mean to the homestead, what we can use them for. We found out we got a lot of blueberries, and we'll go over those here in a while. If not this week, I'll cover them next week. I am still waiting for this bundle of junk to fall out of the tree. It was a little bit too high for me to reach with anything. I got a long pole and reached up and tried to whack that stuff down, but those vines are super, super tough. So that sits up between 2 of my pine trees here at the edge of the property, but they're a little ways up there. Eventually that stuff will come down. I'm just always a little leery as I walk under that stuff. Don't have anything tall enough to trim it, so hopefully it'll just come down safely. That beautiful green tree in the middle of the yard, we've come to find out, is a sweet gum tree. I guess we'll have I think it's got those little spiky balls that come out. So that'll be fun, but it's a gorgeous tree. And then we've got along the path there, I think I said they were maples, and in fact they are red maples. So there's 3 of them. There's 2 there, and then there's kind of one, if you can see those pylons off in the distance just past. Sweet gum tree. So that's awesome. And the pines, they've kind of been identified by the app as Monterey pines, but we'll see. So kind of a sad story on my backhoe. That I'd watched a bunch of videos of people taking these off and setting them, but nobody actually showed me, or couldn't see a video of anybody who had like put the blocks under it. So I put some 2x4s under there. You can kind of see them hidden back there, but obviously not in the right spot. So as it sat, those hydraulics leaked and settled, and now it's pretty much sitting on the ground. So my solution when it comes time to repair this guy is I'll hook up the hydraulics and run the stabilizers up to get it to the right height, and just deal with the hydraulic fluid that leaks out of it. It's not a major leak, but I'll still lose some fluid. But anyway, lesson learned. I'll have to do some research and figure out the best way to make a stand for this so that it doesn't sit. Either that or just add into my procedure that it's going to be sitting on the ground. You hook the hydraulics up and raise it up. That might actually be easier, but we'll see. Curious what any of you, if you've dealt with the BX23S and the backhoe, how you've dealt with this. Thor came out to help me inspect things. What do you think, Thor? He's gone around the back. He's quite the curious cat. What do you think, Thor? He is so at home here in the woods, which I think if I had gotten a cat and then said, yeah, let's just turn him loose in the woods, I don't think I would have been able to deal with that. But having Thor, knowing that he's lived out here for at least a year, and he's completely content and at home out here. But yeah, I don't know that I'd get it. I mean, if we lose Thor at some point, it's been awesome to have him out here mousing and catching critters and whatnot. But I don't know if I could go through letting a cat go out here and just hoping that he comes back into the house. But he's an amazing animal. The other trees out here, I need to give a little bit of water here as it's going to be hot today. I originally called this an orange tree. It turns out it's a lime tree. So, but it's sitting here in a pot. So he's kind of restricted from getting his roots down into deep stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and give him a drink from this water bucket, and hopefully he'll do well. Start to maybe eventually produce some limes. Well, it's time to make a supply run. I need to go get some diesel, some salt for the water softener, and some chlorine for my chlorine injector for the well. So off to town. All right, I know I talked a little bit last week about the well, but today I went out to get my chlorine, and Holster's closed today. So I'll have to go back and get that another day. But I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an idea of the cost of running the well. So the chlorine, which I go through 2.5 gallons a month, is roughly $7.50. And then my, gonna see down in here, the salt is about empty. So it's gonna take me about 4 bags to put that back. It's about, say, $8 a bag. So that's $32 in salt. That's about what I go through a month. So what is that? About $40 a month in chemicals to keep the well running. And then the well pump itself is a 30 amp 220 volt pump, 3,600 feet down, so it's got to really move that water up. So there's a bit of electrical cost every time we switch on the faucet. So yeah, it's not free, but it is under my control, which is kind of fun. But again, it's under my control, which, and that kind of sucks too. I have to deal with it all the time. Anyway, that's the cost for a well, about 40 bucks a month plus electric. I don't know, when the well pump's running, it's probably a kilowatt. So a kilowatt in an hour. Figure you run the pump. I don't know, I've got a son who takes forever showers. So that may be, I don't know, 60 kilowatts a month just to run the well. Whatever that works out to. I don't know what the cost of electricity is at the moment. But so it's not cheap, it's not free, but it is all mine.